The top story, Ministry of Agriculture says Ethiopia holds immense potential for cotton cultivation. Hello and welcome to EBC World with the news. I'm Tabitha John. Do stay with us. The Ethiopian Securities Exchange ESX and the Bourse de Casablanca have entered into a transformative strategic cooperation agreement. This partnership aims to merge the strength of one of Africa's newest financial powerhouses with the continent's second largest exchange, thereby establishing a framework for financial growth, innovation and regional integration. This collaboration represents a significant stride towards enhancing Africa's financial leadership on the global stage. By working together, the ESX and Bourse de Casablanca have focused on building interconnected markets that unlock new potential for businesses and investors across the continent. The Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, initiated the development of a child policy to coordinate and harmonize its activities at the crossroads of child protection and other relevant sectors, which aims to integrate child-focused approaches within IGAD's structure and support member states in fulfilling their international and regional commitment by virtue of the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child and the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of Children. In her keynote speech, Director of Health and Social Development for IGAD, Fatia Alwan, has stressed that endorsing regional child policy will serve as a cornerstone for ensuring that children across the region enjoy the highest standard of protection. Listen to this.
IGAD has been proactive in developing forward the policies that created an environment conducive to protecting the rights and also the welfare of all individual and community across our region. As you all know, today, we take a significant step forward in that journey. The adoption of the IGAD child policy, we know, will serve as a cornerstone for ensuring that children across the region enjoy the highest standards of protection, assistance, and participation in harmony with the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child. Excellencies, by adopting a robust regional child policy, we aim also to empower our member states to better fulfill their international and regional commitment while also implementing a child-sensitive initiative that positively will impact the lives of children throughout the region.
Ethiopian Minister of Women and Social Affairs, Ergoge Tesfaye, for her part, has disclosed that Ethiopia reaffirms that investing in children is an investment in the nation's long-term prosperity.
Through these programs and collective endeavors, Ethiopia reaffirms its belief that investing in children is an investment in our nation's long-term prosperity. These initiatives not only enhance children's lives today, but also lay foundation for sustainable development and thriving society in the future. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the IGAD Child Policy Framework provides a vital regional roadmap that emphasizes harmonized policies and combat child labor trafficking, gender-based violences, as well as emerging threats such as climate change and digital risks impact on our children. A fundamental aspect of this framework is its focus on children participation as inherent right. By empowering children to engage actively in decisions that affect their lives, we are not only protect their rights, but also cultivate future leaders capable of fostering inclusive and resilient society in our region.
Children drawn from member states participated in the adoption of IGA child policy expressed that being part of the policy adoption helps to shape their future.
I think in the future we are not going to get another cases of children living on streets, refugees being mistreated or mistreating children's rights anymore, and we are going to have self-driven countries, or the continent is going to be self-driven, and we're also going to have young leaders.
In the future, I expect a lot because, as you know, we have a lot of policies in the UN Convention of Rights of the Child. We have African Charter of Rights of the Child. Also, we have the government law for children in Ethiopia. As a IGAD child policy, I will say I expect an implemented work where our promises will be acted in our country, in the region, and make a brighter future for African countries.
Nothing about us without us. You cannot just consult us and you come and plan for us how you're going to implement. Oh, and you just sign it that it's going to work when we are not around. So if you consulted us, we are needed also to see whether all the member states are agreeing to implement.
When powerful seismic forces lifted these islands out of the ocean millions of years ago, they sculpted landscapes of unimaginable beauty. Comprised of 7 main islands, the Canary Islands are a Spanish archipelago in the Atlantic Ocean, just off Morocco in North Africa. So spectacular are the Canary Islands that for centuries it was believed that this archipelago formed the peaks of the legendary lost city of Atlantis. Today, the Canary Islands are a magnet for sun-seekers, beachcombers, and adventurers from all over the world.
The Ministry of Agriculture says Ethiopia holds immense potential for cotton cultivation and is actively working to harness this potential across the value chain. This remark was made while Ethiopia launched regional forum to boost cotton production and textile industry. Goshu Melizar presents the following details.
A regional forum aimed at boosting Ethiopia's cotton production and textile industry launched under the theme Sustainable Transition and Opportunities for the Cotton and Textile Sector. Presentations and discussions explored global, African and Ethiopian perspectives on the cotton sector's current state and future prospects. State Minister of Agriculture Mallas Mokonnon highlighted Ethiopia's significant potential, stating the country possesses 3 million hectares of land suitable for cotton cultivation. He emphasized the need to leverage this potential to increase cotton production and productivity.
In a homegrown economic reform, a government initiative, with the goal of achieving sustainable and inclusive growth by leveraging Ethiopia's unique strengths and addressing its structural constraints of the key sectors targeted like agriculture, manufacturing, mining, tourism, and ICT. Cotton is a unique and essential industrial crop with no other commodity offering the same potential for forward linkage with the industrial and service sectors. Ethiopia has 3 million hectares of land suitable for cotton cultivation or production, with the capacity to produce 3 to 4 million tons of lint cotton, which is enough to meet internal demand and export the surplus.
Industry State Minister Hassan Mohammed on his part reiterated that cotton is a highly strategic cash crop for structural change with a significant contribution to job creation, foreign exchange earnings, poverty reduction, as well as import substitution, increasing productivity and industrialization. Through the homegrown economic reform, the government of Ethiopia has given priority for the development of the sector, he noted.
The government of Ethiopia has identified manufacturing, particularly the cotton, textile and the garment sector, as the priority areas of development in the recent homegrown economic reform agenda 2 and the newly adopted industrial policy of the government of Ethiopia and the Ministry of Industry. Our focus on textile and the garment sector is based on keen realization that Ethiopia offers a huge advantage, which includes abundant and trainable workforce, cheap electric power, and the most of the commitment of the Ethiopian government to create conducive and enabling environment for improving the cotton production.
Chairperson of the Eastern and Southern African Cotton Organization highlighted the potential for Ethiopia to emerge as a regional leader in cotton production.
Ethiopia is a shining example of the opportunities and challenges within the cotton sector. The smallholder farmers are at the heart of its production, supporting domestic industries, and with vast untapped potential, including 3 million hectares of valuable land suitable for cotton. Ethiopia is uniquely positioned to become a regional leader. Yet, challenges such as low market prices, limited government support, and high transactional costs must be addressed to unlock this potential.
The event marks a key step in modernizing Ethiopia's cotton and textile industries, aiming to create jobs, boost the economy, and reduce import reliance.
And finally, the Single African Air Transport Market, SATM, is a flagship project of the African Union aiming to create a unified air transport market across the continent. Johannes Fentahun sat down with Eric Ntangerwa, Head of Transport and Mobility at the African Union Commission, and produced the following report.
The Single African Air Transport Market project, launched in 2018, aims to create a unified air transport market across Africa by liberalizing air transport rights. This initiative seeks to stimulate economic growth, improve connectivity, and foster regional integration. Eric Ntangerwa, Head of Transport and Mobility at the African Union Commission, highlighted both the progress made and the challenges encountered in the implementation of the Single African Air Transport Market. While significant strides have been made in liberalizing air transport rights, he acknowledged the ongoing work required to ensure full implementation across all African countries.
So one of the objectives of this market is to try to have one single market whereby airlines operators can work in one environment, one enabled environment to be able to fly and to be able to take more passengers. The second big barrier has been the cost of air travel. The cost of air travel, when it comes to the tickets for intra-Africa transport, you see a lot of government, imposing a lot of taxes and charges at the airports. And this becomes the air ticket in Africa very, very high compared to other parts of the world. And you find connections very difficult because for some part of the Africa, you need to fly to another continent to come back to Africa. So this is not what we want to see. So in terms of the progress, 37 African member states have already joined the Single African Air Transport Market. Out of those, they constitute around 90% of intra-Africa traffic. And we have almost 21 countries which have joined what we call the pilot implementation project.
The head of the division also discussed the environmental protection initiatives undertaken under Single African Air Transport Market. He emphasized the development of continental strategy on aviation fuel, aiming to reduce reliance on conventional jet fuel and transition towards more sustainable alternatives.
ICAO and other partners have already started implementing sustainable aviation fuel. These are fuel which are, emitting less amount of carbon, and that also goes into the global effort of decarbonizing the transport sector. So under the single African air transport market, we established a pillar on environmental protection, and we partnered with ICAO to establish a Sustainable Aviation Fuel Initiative. The main initiative is to see how can we produce these sustainable aviation fuels in Africa. Some countries have already started initiatives like Ethiopia, like South Africa, like Cote d'Ivoire, Egypt, Ghana. There are countries which have already done some feasibility and they are ready to start the production of sustainable aviation fuel.
Looking ahead to the upcoming AU summit, Nangergwa indicated that attendees can expect a call for action to accelerate single African air transport market implementation. This will include a recognition of the recently adopted Sustainable Aviation Fuel Strategy and renewed commitment to enhancing aviation safety standards across the continent.
When it comes to aviation sector, first of all, we are expecting to see again a call for action for African member states to accelerate implementation of the single African air transport market, because this is a flagship project. So that is number one. Number two, we recently had an extraordinary session of the Specialized Technical Committee of Ministers of Transport. They adopted a strategy on sustainable aviation fuel. So we expect this strategy to be considered by during the summit. We had also, aviation safety is very, very important. You cannot talk of air transport connectivity without safety, aviation safety. So we also had revised the Abuja safety targets. These are the targets set at continental level to be able to move into the aviation safety. We improve what we call effective implementation of safety by countries. So we want to see a percentage, average percentage of implementation of the aviation safety growing. So that summit is going to give us an opportunity to advocate for more countries to implement effective resettlement, but also to advance on environment and also aviation safety.
The single African air transport market represents a significant step toward this economic integration and sustainable development in Africa, it was learned.
You're watching EBC, a reminder of the top story. Ministry of Agriculture says Ethiopia holds immense potential for cotton cultivation. That's all we had for now. I'm Tabitha John Winnie. Thanks for watching. Goodbye for now and do take care.